Chapter 121. Great Zia Cultural Research Academy. 1. The storm brewing in the academy had yet to reach Suyu and the others. The convoy continued their journey. With the escort of 4 experts, the trip proceeded smoothly. The only incident was the appearance of a mad bull that had turned partially demonic. The bull was sent flying by Bai Feng's casual attack. They had traveled through several cities. The number of the students on the bus increased. There were students from Yu, from Ning'an, and so on. With more people, there was also more noise and activity in the bus. Suyu did not talk much. Apart from some self-introductions, he had been silently listening to the others as they spoke. These high-tier geniuses were mostly from large families. To progress quickly in physical cultivation, source chi liquid was required. To advance quickly in willpower cultivation, willpower text was required. Divine characters also needed to be formed. None of that could be supplied by a poor family. Thus, there were many low and middle-tier students from ordinary families. But there were very few of them among the high-tier students. That was why Bureau Head Sun once said during the Nanyuan examination that he wished to see Suyu break the monopoly of the rich and powerful families and become a high-tier student. I heard from my elder sister that the foreign students are already in the academy. They're very scary. Many of them have human bodies and beast heads. That's normal. Apart from some humanoid races, most races will need to reach above the mountain sea realm to take on the human form. I don't know what the academy is thinking. Why are they accepting these fellows? The students were softly conversing on the bus. A day had passed. It was the 30th of July. The bus would arrive at the capital that night. After a day together, the students had learned some basic information about each other, even though they still didn't know each other well. Everyone was casually chatting while Suyu was silently listening. Their group consisted of the students of 5 different cities. Apart from Nanyuan with Suyu, as the sole student, the other cities varied between 3 to 6 students. Including Suyu, there were 20 of them on the bus. A majority of them were heading to the war academies, while there were only 8 heading to the cultural research academies. In other words, from these 5 cities, there were only 8 high-tier cultural research students. Following this trend, there would probably be around 50 high-tier cultural research students from the 28 cities. The capital itself would probably have more high-tier cultural research students than all the other 28 cities combined. So there will be about 100 to 200 high-tier students, Suyu guessed. That wasn't exactly a big number. That was understandable. The cultural research students had all been picked after numerous trials. The cultural research academies would end up receiving less than 2,000 students. Meanwhile, less than 1/10 of these students would be high-tier students. And among the high-tier students, some would also choose to join the 9 Heavens Cultural Research Academy or Dao-Seeking Cultural Research Academy. Thus, the Great Zia Cultural Research Academy would probably end up with around 100 high-tier students. Suyu was thinking while listening to the crowd when a young man beside him suddenly smiled and said, "Suyu, what are you going to study in the academy?" Suyu softly said, "I have no idea. I really don't know too much about all this. Tao Xing, can you give me a simple explanation?" Tao Xing laughed and said, "Sure, I can do that. In truth, someone will tell us all this in the academy, but it won't hurt to learn it in advance. Everyone knows that the Cultural Research Academy is in charge of nurturing cultural researchers, but within the academy, there are various factions. Cultural researcher itself is merely a collective term to group them all together. I'll start with the biggest faction in the academy, the character faction." Tao Xing was getting excited as he spoke. Giving this explanation to a high-tier student was an opportunity to showcase himself. If it was a low-tier student instead, he would have much less interest in giving the explanation. Within the character faction itself, there are several small splinter factions. I won't touch on that since I don't know too much about it either. The second biggest faction is the willpower faction. This faction focuses on strengthening one's willpower. Members of that faction will rarely form divine characters. Some would choose to not form even one. These people are very strong as well. Without divine characters, their willpower can grow rapidly. Their cultivation levels are generally higher than those in the character faction. As for the third biggest faction, it's the beast taming faction. Suyu blanked out for a bit before asking, "Beast taming?" "Yap," Tao Xing said with a smile. These are the cultural researchers who capture and tame demon beasts, and also fight with their tamed beasts. We can call them summoners as well, since that's what they call themselves. Regardless of what we call them, they are very strong. Their path of cultivation mainly involves taming demon beasts. You need to know that of the Myriad races. A lot of them are demonic races, and a lot of them are exceptionally powerful. These cultural researchers walk the path where they grow alongside their beasts. The stronger their beasts are, the stronger they are. Suyu felt truly enlightened. Nobody had told him that before. Nobody had told him that before. As you know, some people in the military will ride to the battlefield on beasts. Most of these beasts are provided by the beast tamers. Thus, beast tamers are actually very popular in the military. And the fourth biggest faction is the pill-making faction. From the name alone, you know what they do. These are cultural researchers specializing in making pills. The scientific research academies produce pills as well, but they mostly produce standardized pills. As for our pill masters, they focus on producing non-standard pills. In the academy, they are also known as the Divine Pill faction. The fifth biggest faction, the weaponsmithing faction. The sixth biggest faction, the Divine Talisman faction. It is actually a small splinter of the Divine Character faction. With the unique divine characters they specialize in, they can create single-use divine characters and store them in talismans. Suyu felt even more enlightened. Tiansheng had told him a lot of things he didn't know before. Apart from the 6 commonly seen cultural researchers, there were also some rarer factions. For example, the transformation faction, where the cultural researchers focus on transforming their bodies. These people were very terrifying and often looked very similar to the foreign races. Some of them had modified themselves so much, they no longer looked like humans anymore. It was worth noting that these major factions were also split into many smaller factions. The character faction, for example, was further split into many smaller factions. These factions were split in accordance to the properties of their divine characters, the number of their divine characters, the ways they approach combat, and so on. There was also a peaceful faction in the academy. Instead of focusing on their combat strength, they focused on studying the various cultivation methods. Most of them existed within the willpower faction, and each of them possessed a powerful willpower. Toward the end, Tiansheng asked, "So, what's your choice?" Suyu hesitated slightly before saying, "I think it'll be the character faction." After listening to the entire explanation, he still felt like the character and the willpower factions were more suitable for him. But since he had already formed some divine characters and had tasted the prowess of divine characters, he was unwilling to shift his focus to willpower alone. Zhao Li, who was seated in front of the bus, raised his brow. So was that kid really going to join the character faction? Indeed, that was still the more attractive faction. But what was so bad about weaponsmithing? It wasn't like he had to stop cultivating divine characters after becoming a weaponsmith. Although cultural researchers could be classified into different factions, most of them actually cultivated a mix of different paths. Very few would only stick to one path. Many cultural researchers would know at least the basics of the other paths. Tiansheng laughed heartily and said, "I want to pick the character faction as well, but I'll probably finalize my decision after reaching the academy. We're all high-tier students, so we have a lot of options. A lot of the normal students are actually assigned to one instead of being given the freedom to choose. Some of the new students still had weak willpower and no divine character. Thus, it would be the same whichever path they chose in the early stages. To protect some of the smaller factions from extinction, the academy would actually send some students over to them." Suyu nodded. Tiansheng was much more reliable than Hu Zongji. Traces of arrogance could still be heard in his voice, but that was more the natural pride of a genius. As a whole, he was not so conceited that Suyu found it hard to even converse with him. As for Hu Zongji, Suyu couldn't bring himself to even talk with that guy. In fact, that fellow was not only so obnoxious when facing Suyu, he was the same when facing the others as well. Thus, he had invited quite a lot of displeasure in the bus. He only learned to shut his mouth after researcher Hu sent a couple of glares his way. Chapter 122. Great Zia Cultural Research Academy. Time passed quickly while the students talked among themselves. The sky slowly darkened. Before even reaching the capital city itself, Suyu could already feel the bustling atmosphere in the air. They were currently at the outskirts of the capital city. The bus was traveling on a wide road framed by large trees. The random buildings scattered about were clean and big. In some of the villages and towns they passed through, they could see many people practicing martial techniques. More and more vehicles could be seen on the road as well. The further they went, the more bustling it was. Even some of the random towns they passed by were bigger and more developed than Nenyuan. Even at night, these towns were brightly lit and filled with pedestrians. "We're nearing the capital city," announced Li Yunfeng. When Su Yu looked out the window at the nightscape, he was stunned. Was this the great Zia city? He could sense the difference between this city and Nanyuan just by looking outside. A lot of noise could be heard outside the bus. The cloud rush horse he had seen during the test previously could also be seen. These horses were carrying their riders and running rapidly on the road. As someone who had opened a decent number of acupoints, he could sense that the source chi density in this area was far higher than anywhere else he had been to. There was no comparing this place with Nanyuan. In fact, the natural source chi density here was almost as high as the effect of source chi liquid when used in Nanyuan. Some of the pedestrians he saw felt extremely strong. He could sense the concentration of source chi around great strength cultivators, while infinite strength cultivators gave him the sensation of burning suns. And there were many such burning suns around, which meant that there were a lot of infinite strength cultivators around. And they were still not even in the capital city yet. Su Yu was not the only surprised student. A majority of the students in the bus were also exclaiming in admiration. They were simply being less obvious than Su Yu about it. Of the 28 cities under Great Zia City's rule, many of them were powerful, but none could compare with the capital itself. Relying on those 28 cities alone, the Great Zia Prefecture wouldn't have been so powerful. In front of the bus, the 3 cloud breach experts who had been relatively silent throughout the journey finally opened their eyes and exhaled in relief. They were finally safe. They had arrived at the outskirts of the capital city and were going to enter the city itself soon. If even this place wasn't safe for them, then Great Zia might as well cease to exist. Unless the Myriad race cult wished to face total destruction, they would not dare to try anything here. Sun Xia, the expert from the 9 Heavens Cultural Research Academy, said, "The capital is not a singular city. It is a greater city formed of a main city at the center surrounded by 4 sub-cities at the east, south, west, and north. Altogether, they form the 5 major areas of the capital. The capital has 30 million residents. The war academies are mostly spread across the eastern district, while the cultural research academies are spread across the western district. We will separate after entering the city. The cultural research academies are quite far away from the war academies. There will be some people coming to pick you up. You will be brought directly to your academies. Rest well tonight, and don't wander off alone." The capital is a city that never sleeps. Even at night, the city is still bustling with activity. But even if you want to get to know this city, it is better for you to get properly settled down first before you start roaming around. Su Yu was paying attention to the words when his attention was suddenly caught by something else. He was astonished. An incredible sight had appeared before him. The entire world seemed to have brightened up. Countless flickering lights could be seen coming from the distant city, piercing through the darkness of the night. The city was incomparably big. It almost seemed boundless. There were city walls around the city, but the walls weren't too tall. And the walls were certainly not able to mask the thriving atmosphere behind them. Since they were deep in the human realm, the city walls wouldn't be too tall. And the people here at the capital were confident enough in their own strength. Thus, they did not need excessively tall city walls. Su Yu's entire vision was filled with lights. The resplendent lights seemed to stretch endlessly forward. When they arrived near the city wall, the gate Su Yu had expected to see was nowhere to be found. Rather, a massive road about 100 meters wide could be seen leading straight into the city. There was a checkpoint outside the city. Some soldiers could be seen standing guard there. Some vehicles were allowed to enter after showing some documents. The road was further split into several paths, such as the Beast Path, Large Vehicle Path, Small Vehicle Path, Cultivator's Landing Zone, Military Path, and so on. The purpose of each path was clearly indicated. Before long, the bus they were on reached the checkpoint. Li Yunfeng opened the window and showed a document to the soldier on duty. After checking the document, the soldier saluted Li Yunfeng before letting the bus through. As the bus drove forward, Su Yu looked behind to see that an expert was flying down from the sky. The cultivator ultimately landed in the cultivator's zone before getting into a small car and drove off on a different path. When Tao Xing saw what Su Yu was looking at, he smiled and explained, "For experts, it is better to either fly or go on foot in the wilderness. Vehicles will only inconvenience them, but in the city, they have to follow the rules and can't fly around willy-nilly, so they will use vehicles in the city instead." Su Yu smiled and did not say anything. He wasn't surprised to see an expert driving. He was more surprised by the fact that cultivators at the Skysoar realm and beyond could be seen so easily here. One ought to know that in the entirety of Nenyuan, Zia Bing, Wu Wenhai, and Liu Wenyan were the only Skysoar cultivators. But here, he was able to see one before even going far from the city wall. Next, rumbling sounds rang out. Su Yu looked behind again and saw about a dozen cloud-rush horses running on the road, kicking a cloud of dust around them. Under the cover of the night, Su Yu couldn't get a clear look at them. However, he could still see the leader of the group flying off his mount before talking to the guards on duty. That was yet another Skysoar expert. Or maybe stronger. Su Yu took a deep breath. The sky of the capital was indeed much higher than Nenyuan's. Excluding those on the bus, he had already seen 2 experts at the Skysoar realm or beyond. He was both shocked and excited. This was the sight he wanted to see. Here, there were countless experts. That would both pressure and motivate him to work harder. In Nenyuan, one did not need to be too strong to be considered successful. The infinite strength realm was enough. In fact, infinite strength cultivators were the mainstay of Nanyuan. But here in the capital, the Skysoar realm was merely the starting line. A while later, the bus approached a different vehicle and stopped. "Our academy students, get on that vehicle." At that command, 12 students got off the bus. A few people were on the other vehicle in charge of escorting these students to their academies. Su Yu did not know these students well and had not conversed much with them. Thus, he only watched silently as they left. The students from the same cities were bidding each other farewells. A few minutes later, the other vehicle left. The door closed, and Sun Zia said, "We'll be heading to the Western District. When we reach there, those joining the Nine Heavens Cultural Research Academy will follow me, while those joining the Dao-seeking Cultural Research Academy will follow Commander Li Ai. Those joining the Great Zia Cultural Research Academy will stay in the bus and follow Elder Zhao." Of the remaining 8 students in the bus, 6 of them were joining the Great Zia Cultural Research Academy. The other 2 academies were only receiving a student each. One couldn't say that their choice to choose those 2 academies were right or wrong. Each person had their own choice. Perhaps they could go further in those 2 academies. After all, those academies were certainly offering more benefits to high-tier students. Hu Tsongji, who had forced himself to remain silent for an entire day, finally spoke again. "Third Teacher Hu, can we move freely after reaching the academy?" He was about to say third grandpa instead. Su Yu was aware of that. On the journey, he had figured out the relationship between the 2. He was also a 7th-stage cloud breach expert. Meanwhile, Sun Cia was only a 2nd-stage cloud breach expert. That was why Sun Cia was only a junior researcher, while the other 2 were intermediate researchers. Zhao Li and Hu Yuhui seemed to have similar status. However, they had not conversed much with each other. Sun Cia clearly had the lower status, as most of the mundane affairs during the journey were either handled by her or Li Yunfeng. Hu Yuhui frowned and said, "Yes, you can. But don't roam around if you don't know the place well." He did not bother hiding anything and directly berated, "Where are you planning on going? Your elder brother is already waiting for you. Follow him when you arrive. Don't do anything before completing your registration tomorrow." Ho Zongji muttered in disappointment. "My friends are waiting for me. We agreed to gather up tonight." Hu Yuhui ignored him. The bus continued moving. Halfway, Sun Cia and Li Yunfeng left with 2 students. That left only 6 students, Zhao Li, Hu Yui, and the driver on the bus. After about half an hour, when it was almost 9, they arrived. Su Yu blanked out when he was told to get off the bus. He thought that he was still in the middle of the city. When he got off the bus, Zhao Li announced, "We have arrived at the academy." Su Yu looked around. Weren't they still in the middle of the city? Where was the academy? Looking at his confused expression, Zhao Li smiled and said, This is the Great Zia Cultural Research Academy. We're at the visitor zone. Didn't we go through an iron gate earlier? That's the western gate of the academy. Suyu was truly stunned. They had been driving for more than 10 minutes after the gate before reaching the visitor zone. This place was filled with vehicles and people. He had thought that they were still in the middle of some commercial district. But they were actually in the academy, Zhao Li said. This is the outer area of the academy. The education district is not here. It is a few kilometers ahead of us. You will all be spending the night here. Tomorrow you will finish your registration procedures. Only then can you be truly considered students of the academy. Many other vehicles could be seen stopping nearby. Some people were walking with their luggages. These were probably new students like them. Many of them were driven here by their parents. These were most likely the local students. Some were delivered here on buses like Suyu's group. So these were probably the students from some other cities. A lot of them were staring around blankly like Suyu. Zhao Li was standing with a few old men. After a short chat, more people arrived. These newcomers were youngsters. Junior brothers and sisters. Come with me if your names are called. Line up here. Pay attention to the names being called. If you fail to follow, you'll have to find your own accommodation tonight. These newcomers were all the older students of the academy. They started calling out students according to the lists in their hands. Before long, Suyu heard his own name. Nenyuan Secondary School, Suyu. Here, he hurriedly answered before walking toward a young woman. The woman looked at him and smiled before continuing with the roll call. A short while later, about a dozen students had gathered around Suyu. All right, that's all. The young woman smiled and introduced, I'm Zhou Hui, your senior sister, a student of the mental tempering grade. Come with me, I'll take you to a meal. After that, you can settle down for the night. I'll come pick you up tomorrow morning. Don't run off by yourself. There will be a lot of people in the visitor zone these 2 days, and things will be rather chaotic around here. If you run around and miss your registration, don't blame me for not reminding you about it. As she spoke, she started leading the students away. Suyu turned his head to look at Zhao Li. The old man, who was also looking at him, merely nodded with a smile instead of saying anything. They were already in the academy. He would have plenty of chances to communicate with Suyu later. He would let this kid get used to the new environment first. Suyu was slightly panicking. The familiar faces on the bus were nowhere to be seen. Even if that annoying Hu Zongji was here, he would find some comfort in the familiar face. But he was surrounded by total strangers. He instinctively tightened his grip on his saber anxiously. Zhou Hui, who was leading the way, laughed and said, Don't be nervous, everyone. I'm not a monster that will eat you guys. I only need to send you guys to the correct place to complete my mission. You're new here, but you will get used to this place after a few days. By the way, be careful at night. A bunch of hungry wolves are waiting for you. Watch out for the senior brothers and sisters that might come looking for you late at night. Remember to never open your door. Suyu shivered. Was this place so scary? He felt like he had entered a den of wolves. The world outside Nanyuan was wonderful. But it also felt very dangerous. Done with scaring the newbies, Zhao Hui giggled to herself. After a while they arrived at their destination. A brightly lit building stood before them. Your group will be staying on the 5th floor. 1 room for each of you. Take your luggages up. The doors are all open. Pick your own rooms and come down for a meal when you're ready. Suyu and the students silently went upstairs. After picking a room and shutting the door behind him, Suyu heaved a breath of relief. He had been very nervous earlier. He wasn't even this nervous when facing the attack of the Myriad race cult. Unfamiliarity, confusion, and curiosity. He finally loosened up now that he was alone. He exhaled deeply, trying to calm himself down. Since he was already here, he had to overcome his nervousness quickly. Don't panic. Stay calm. You can do it, Suyu. Chapter 123. First impression of the academy. 1. After taking a short break in the room to readjust his mental state, Suyu went down. In the cafeteria, Zhou Hui was already busy eating while the new students arrived one after another. The same scene was playing out all around them as well, with one senior student leading several new students. Over here! Zhou Hui waved at Suyu. When he went over, she smiled and said, Go grab something to eat. You know how to do that, right? Suyu smiled and left without saying anything. This was basically a self-service restaurant. By the time he returned with his meal, Zhao He was almost done eating. When all the students arrived, she gestured at them to eat while she sat there waiting. As they ate, she said, "In the past, some of the genius students joined without knowing how to do anything. They thought the academy was their home, ordering the senior students around like they were servants. Some even ordered the senior students to fetch their meals for them." Zhao Hui laughed and said, "Good thing none of you are that stupid. Otherwise, I would have been rich." Everyone looked at her blankly. What did she mean? Stupid. Don't you need to pay for work done? Zhou Hui softly said, "You can all serve as a witness that I'm not an unreliable senior sister. Pay attention to your surroundings. If any senior student ends up getting the meal for some new students later, hey, those new students will not enjoy what comes next. According to the rules of the academy, you must be rewarded for what you do. Since the senior student has helped the new student with a task, then the new student will be charged no lower than 1 merit point. A greedier senior student can even demand 3 to 5 merit points per task. The new student will have no choice but to pay up. They only have themselves to blame for being incapable of even fetching their meal themselves." Zhou Hui giggled and said, "Just wait and see. Something like this will definitely happen. Some new students are too stupid and arrogant. They think that this place is their home." The expressions of Su Yu and the other students changed. Was the environment here really so cutthroat? Fortunately, their group had been too embarrassed to let Zhao Hui help with anything. A short girl beside Su Yu asked with some lingering fear, "Senior sister, when you offered to help me with my luggage earlier, did you intend to charge me for it?" "Of course," So He answered righteously. "Everyone seems to be able to carry their own luggage except you. When I see you struggling, isn't it normal for me to offer my service? Don't worry, I'm not greedy. I can do it for only 1 merit point." The short girl rejoiced that she had insisted on carrying her luggage herself because she had been too embarrassed to accept the help. It would seem like that decision had saved her a merit point. For these new students, even 1 merit point was a large amount. Even those from rich families wouldn't be willing to waste their merit points like that. That was basically the same as paying someone tens of thousands to carry a suitcase. Who would be willing to do that? Su Yu was not bothered about that. Instead, he asked, "Senior Sister Zhou, are senior students being paid to welcome the new students?" "Yes. We get 1 merit point for this mission." Zhou Hui smiled happily. "That's a lot. In fact, this is a job many couldn't get even if they wanted. Only mental tempering grade students like us can get it. It is easy and safe. It doesn't even take much time. We wouldn't be able to get 1 merit point so easily during any other time." Zhou Hui scanned the group and said, "Who among you are high-tier students?" The short girl raised her hand cautiously and said, "I am." Zhou Hui's eyes lit up and said, "You're a high-tier student? You're rewarded 100 merit points for joining the academy, right?" The short girl was fearful of the look in Zhou Hui's eyes. But she still nodded and said, "Yeah, that was what I heard." "Junior sister," Zhou Hui exclaimed with her eyes brightly lit. "Have you ever considered providing loans? By loaning your 100 merit points for 3 months, you will get 110 merit points in return. You have just joined the academy, so you won't be needing that many merit points anyway. It would be too much of a waste to just keep your points in your card. You can consider lending it to me. I'll help you look for loan takers. After 3 months, I'll return 110 merit points to you. You can earn 10 merit points without doing anything." Su Yu and the other students were dumbstruck. The people here were way too creative in terms of making money. Even the students from the bigger cities were as stunned as Su Yu. Something like this was completely beyond their imagination. The short girl was so scared that she almost teared up. She hurriedly said, "No, I still need to buy some original texts. I need the points myself." Sigh. Zhou Hui sighed before smiling again. "You're bad at math. Fine, your senior sister won't trick you. You can always consider lending your merit points to me if you find yourself not able to finish them. I'll give you my number later." She then looked at the others on the table and said, "The same goes for you guys. Consider my offer. Of course, there might be more high students among you as well, but that is not indicated on the list I'm given. I am too lazy to ask too much." "Don't worry. Nobody would dare to steal your merit points. This is the academy. You will definitely receive interest for the merit points you loan out. There are a lot of people lacking merit points in the academy. These people only need some points for emergencies and can quickly return the points to you. Suyu couldn't help but to ask, "Senior sister, are merit points hard to earn here?" "Of course," Zhou He helplessly said. "We're not warriors. Our physical strength is too weak, so some missions are out of our reach. And there are too many old students that have yet to graduate. Easy jobs involving translation and administration would be snatched the moment one is available." Zhou Hui sighed. "I've been in the academy for 6 years. I'm already at the mental tempering stage, but I can still rarely find any suitable missions for me. Otherwise, why would I be here welcoming new students like you? You need merit points for willpower texts, for classes, for meals, for everything." Zhou Hui's face turned gloomy as she said, "I can't live anymore." The new students felt sad for her hearing about her hardships in the academy. That was too pitiful. Suyu was also worried. He asked, Is there no way to earn merit points?" "Of course we have," Zhou Hui said. "Like I said, there are a lot of missions around. Helping pill masters with pills, helping beast tamers with rearing beasts, helping character masters with odd jobs. All those tasks provide merit points. If you're strong and confident, you can challenge the top 100 ranking of the academy. If you can get on the ranking, you'll receive bonus merit points each month." "Top 100 ranking?" Suyu asked in confusion. Beside him, the short girl said, "I know about that. Senior sister, is that the ranking for those in the mental tempering stage?" "You can say so." Zhou Hui smiled. "Only those in the mental tempering stage can get on that ranking. Also, you must be below 30. Those who have graduated after reaching the Sky Soar realm will not be allowed to get on the ranking as well. The rewards of this ranking are provided for the students, not the Sky Soar graduates," the short girl said. "Senior sister, I heard about that from my aunt, but I'm planning to walk the path of pill making. I won't have much strength. How do I get on the ranking?" "You don't have to worry about that," Zhou Hui explained. "The top 100 ranking is mainly for combat specialists. Pill masters, talisman masters, and weaponsmiths have their own rankings. You can aim for those instead, but those rankings won't be as popular as the top 100 ranking." She paused to look at the look of longing on the eyes of the new students. With a smile, she said, "You guys can forget about it. How many students are there in the academy? And how many students can graduate each year? Every year, there are at least 1,000 students below 30 staying behind after failing to graduate, while the others leave the academy after giving up. And over the past 10 years, more than 10,000 of these students have been accumulated in the academy. Even when taking only those below 30 into consideration, there were over 10,000 of them. And that was already excluding the ones who had given up and left the academy. Or else, the number would have been bigger." Zhou Hui continued her explanation. "There are more than one mental tempering classes. Each major faction has their own classes. There are about 5,000 mental tempering stage students below 30 in the academy, and among them, only 100 can get on the top 100 ranking. Newbies like you should stop dreaming. There are so many mental tempering stage students," a young man exclaimed in astonishment. "That's too many. You're surprised by that?" Zhou Hui was indifferent. "There are plenty of mental tempering stage students around. That number will be even bigger when including those above 30. You only need 50% willpower to reach the mental tempering stage. A new student can reach that point after a year or two. However, after reaching that stage, you will be stuck for a very long time. There are still a large number of mental tempering stage students in their 70s in the academy." Zhou Hui shook her head and sighed. "It is too hard to reach the Skysaw realm. Last year, 62 students graduated from the academy. Only 16 of them are below 30. A large majority of our students would have no hope of reaching the Skysaw realm." Everyone sank into silence. Zhou Hui smiled again and said, "Don't worry. If you really can't do it, you can always change your profession. Like me, if I can't reach the Skysaw realm by 30, I will leave the academy and look for something else to do. We have strong willpower. If we shift into a warrior, we can reach the great strength and infinite strength realms quickly. At the infinite strength realm, you can easily find a decent job." One of them couldn't resist asking, "Senior sister, how old are you?" Zhao Hui's eyes turned dangerous. "That is a dangerous question. Do you know that?" The smile then returned to her face as she said, "I'm okay. I've been in the academy for 6 years, making me 24 this year. I'm fine being asked that question, but if you ask those old senior sisters that have been in the academy for decades, you will regret it terribly." The students laughed. The mood on their table had warmed up considerably. Earlier everyone was tense, but Zhou Hui was a pleasant and talkative person, so they were able to keep the conversation going. Su Yu and the other students could see that the nearby tables were so silent it was scary. Some of the senior students only ate silently, completely disregarding their junior students. Evidently, this was only a mission for them. Apart from showing the way, they would not need to do anything else. Thus, they would only converse with the new students if they were in the mood. Otherwise, they could always ignore the new students. Chapter 124. First impression of the academy. To Su Yu's attention was still on the merit points. He asked, "Senior sister, I heard you need to pay merit points for classes. Are those classes expensive?" "Of course," Zhou Hui answered, "but not for all of them. Some basic classes are free, but the moment it involves specialized knowledge, especially willpower text writing, you need a scary number of merit points." Zhou Hui continued with a look of heartache. For example, the classes of those teaching assistants where they will write a willpower text during the class will cost at least 5 merit points per class. For junior researcher classes, you need at least 10 merit points per class. You won't be able to afford the classes of the intermediate and senior researchers. In truth, they don't conduct a lot of classes for new students either. For mental tempering stage students, they won't waste their time on you unless you're a genius. The library and book repository also need merit points. Su Yu asked in astonishment. Those two are different, of course. You can only find ordinary books in the library. The book depository is where the truly good stuff can be found. The original texts and willpower texts can be found there. Some might have expired, but they are still much more valuable than ordinary books. Zhou Hui sighed. Library, book depository, classes, cultivating, pills, weapons, talismansol. Those require merit points. And don't get me started on the secret grottos. The public grottos of the academy are scarily expensive. I've been here for 6 years, and I've only entered a grotto once. Zhou Hui gnashed her teeth as she said, and that one entry cost me a few years' worth of savings. Why would I be here on this mission otherwise? Everyone sank into a melancholic mood. How pitiful. It almost felt like one wouldn't be able to survive without merit points. That was too scary. One of them whispered, "Fortunately, my father gave me 30 merit points before coming immediately after." Zhou Hui looked at him with her eyes brightly lit. "Student, consider loaning merit points to me." They were all speechless. The senior sister was truly desperate for merit points. When Zhou Hui saw that the student was staying silent, she sighed. "Forget it. What a miser. But 30 merit points aren't that useful. In a few months you will see just how little that is." Zhou Hui shook her head and said, "Also, you didn't earn those merit points yourself. Your merit tier is not up there, so some things will still not be available for you. For example, the secret grottos. Even with merit points, you might not be able to enter. Even the most ordinary secret grotto requires at least 30 total earned merit points to enter. As for the better secret grottos, you need over 100 total earned merit points. Think about it. How are you supposed to earn that much before the Skysoar realm?" Upon hearing that, Su Yu started calculating his own total earned merit. From languages, he had earned 18 merit points. From the previous mission, he had earned 10 merit points. From the entrance examinations, he had earned 40 merit points. However, half of that was bonus reward and would not be counted as total earned merit. From the recent battle, he had earned over 40 merit points. As a whole, his total earned merit had reached around 90 points. He heaved a breath of relief. Fortunately, he had earned a decent number of merit points himself. He nearly had 100 total earned merit points. These requirements were actually put in place to help those from ordinary families. If everyone needed total earned merit points to enter, then everyone had a fair chance to enter. Even someone from a rich family would not be able to enter without enough total earned merit. By the time those from the rich families made enough total earned merit, those from the ordinary families would have made enough as well. This rule is a restriction on those from big families. Understanding dawned on Su Yu. In the academy, students must rely on themselves. Their backgrounds and families could be helpful, but they weren't as big a help as he had imagined. Zhou Hui did not know what Suyu was thinking about. She continued her explanation. It is still too early for you guys to learn about all that. You'll learn after some time in the academy. For now, your main tasks are to study the basics, pick your course, and pick your teacher. Of course, the latter is only available for geniuses. Zhou Hui shrugged and said, if you're not a teacher, be happy with public classes. The researchers will definitely be willing to accept you as a personal student. Do you have anyone in mind? Do you want me to introduce you to one? The girl timidly said. It's okay, senior sister. I already have a teacher. What a pity. Zhou Hui had a look of regret as she said, I can get some merit points if the student I introduce ends up accepted. She then smiled at the other students and asked, there must be more high-tier students among you. Even a middle evaluation and above will be enough. After all, high-tier students are too rare. With middle evaluation or above, you can actually find a teaching assistant as your teacher easily. I can introduce some suitable teachers to you. If both of you find each other agreeable, I can get some benefits. To Suyu's right, a young man raised his hand and asked, senior sister, I'm a middle student. Can I get a suitable teacher? Yeah, you might be able to find one. Zhou Hui nodded and said, we'll talk further later. They say that this year, there are fewer new students. They say that we are accepting 500 less students. But in truth, students are still being sent into the academy through other channels. There are also those who have entered through the smaller cities. So this year, we ended up accepting around 2,000 new students, the same as the previous years. Most of these students will be low-tier students. There are at least 1,200 of them. As for middle-tier students, there will be around 500 to 600 of them. The rest are the high-tier students. The academy has a new rule this year. All the researchers are required to accept some students. There will probably be over 100 researchers coming out to accept students. A few hundreds of them will end up accepted. Thus, you have a decent chance as a middle-tier student. Suyu asked, senior sister, for new students that aren't accepted this year, will they have a chance in the future? Yes. Zhou Hui smiled and said, I'll be trying my luck this year as well. I'll see if I can get myself a teacher. But those teachers don't like old students. Zhou Hui sighed and said, they call us old foxes, with no vigor. But what choice do we have? Since we haven't been accepted during our first year, we have no choice but to survive by ourselves. If we aren't old foxes, we won't be able to reach this far. I heard there's a high-tier student from Nanyuan this year. Zhou Hui blinked. What was the name of that Nanyuan fellow? As old students, they rarely concern themselves with these new students. Only the new students would care a lot about the other new students. The other students were unclear. But Liu Kei suddenly looked at Suyu curiously. Suyu? Was that him? High-tier students would normally pay more attention to other high-tier students. As for the weaker students, unless they were close friends, who would care about them? As a high-tier student, Liu Kei was naturally curious about the other high-tier students this year. She did not have the complete list, but Nanyuan only had one high-tier student. She seemed to have heard the name before. It was Su something. Was it Suyu? The look in Zhou Hui's eyes changed as well. The other Nanyuan students had yet to arrive. In fact, not one ordinary student from Nanyuan's region had arrived. Suyu was the only Nanyuan student to have arrived. In that case, this must be the high-tier student. Zhou Hui's eyes lit up. Since Suyu was staying silent, she didn't expose him. But her attitude still turned warmer than before as she said, Student Suyu, take my number. Feel free to contact me if you need anything, like looking for a teacher, looking for information, asking about the genius students, the top 100 ranking, and so on. I will charge you cheaply. I won't even take merit points. Cash is enough for me. The same goes for you guys. Zhou Hui then fished out some books from her bag and said, as new students, you should get yourself a student's manual. It is cheap and useful. Liu Kei was interested. She asked, how much for one, senior sister? It's cheap. It's cheap. I'll take $500 per book. Zhou Hui smiled. This is the latest edition. The older editions are already outdated. Some dishonest senior students will sell it to you for 1 merit point. You will be too curious to say no. Am I right? Many of them nodded. She was speaking the truth. That was especially true for the so-called top 100 ranking. Everyone was very curious about that. Zhou Hui opened the book and pointed at a certain page. This is the list of the strongest teaching assistants. Look, occupying the first place is Zia Yuan. Some of you might already know that. But what about the second place? Third place, aren't you curious? We also have the latest student ranking. Under 30. Which student is the strongest? And this is the ranking of the junior researchers. Who's the best among them? This is with each ranking Zhou Hui mentioned. The more tempted the new students were. Before long, they were pulling their money out to buy the student manual. So Yu was tempted as well. He was very curious about all that, and he knew even less than the others. Thus, even though he loathed parting with his money, he still pulled out $500 for one of the manuals. All the new students in the group purchased a manual each. With money in hand, a wide smile bloomed on Zhou Hui's face. The manual only cost her about $30 each. She had earned a massive profit selling them to these students. Unfortunately, she wasn't in charge of too many students, and she was too kind to trick them. Like she said, she was actually a kind senior. Not far away, a new student exclaimed in alarm. 3 merit points for one? That's too expensive. Scran if you don't want to buy, a senior student indifferently said. This is the market price. It involves the internal information of the academy. Do you think you can get it so easily? Do you know how much of a risk I took to get these books out? Some of the nearby senior students were speechless. What a scammer. Some of them only charged cash, and some only charged 1 merit point. But this fellow was charging 3 merit points. He was too greedy. Of course, none bothered to expose him. Although he was greedy and was obviously going to earn big, he needed to watch his back from now on. Some of these new students might grow strong in a few years and come back to settle scores. That had happened to some other students in the past. One should not take only the short-term profit into consideration. Zhou Hui was envious of that student as well, but she wasn't too bothered about that. If he really encountered a petty but genius student, he would come to suffer a few years down the line. All that for a couple of merit points? Was that worth it? Meanwhile, Su Yu and company looked at her gratefully. Su Yu even felt like he had made a profit buying from her. The other students had to spend 3 merit points per book. That was worth tens of thousands of dollars. Meanwhile, they only needed to spend $500. With someone to compare against, they felt much better with the money spent. They carefully hid their books, scared that others would find out they had bought it for cheap. Zhou Hui was giggling to herself. This was good. In her group, there were at least 2 high-tier students. It was good that they weren't holding any grudge against her. She might even be able to leave a good impression on them. She was almost done with her job here. She had earned her money and left a good impression on them. It didn't matter if they would still remember her in the future. At the very least, some sort of connection had formed between them. As for the greedy senior student, he probably didn't care about what these new students thought. He would take as much as he could from them. These new students would probably leave in a few years. Since they couldn't reach the Skyzor realm, what was the point in staying in the academy? Go back and take your time reading the manual. I'll come for you guys tomorrow to show you the student dorms. By the way, high-tier students can stay in the mental tempering garden. I suggest you stay there. Or else, the ordinary dorms will annoy you to no end. She gnashed her teeth and said, There, you'll be sharing the unit with 7 other students. When you are reading, the others are training martial techniques. When you are training, others are showering. When you are showering, others are reading. That will drive you crazy. Su Yu's expression changed. Was it so terrible? 8 per unit. One ought to know that they were here to cultivate, and disturbance was what one feared most when cultivating. Su Yu felt gloomy. Would he need to stay in the mental tempering garden as well? But he had to pay $50,000 for that. He didn't even have that much money on him. Zhao Hui was actually stealthily paying attention to him. When she saw her expression, she smiled at herself. Sure enough, this fellow was probably the high-tier student from Nanyuan. Not bad at all. There were actually 2 high-tier students in her group. They might be new students, but if she could build a good relationship with them, she might benefit from it in the future. Zhao Hui was feeling very good about herself. It would seem like acting cute in front of the researcher in charge of assignments had worked splendidly. She had been given a decent list of new students to welcome. Chapter 125. Old Women Obstacles in Cultivation. One after the chat with Zhou Hui, Su Yu, and company had learned a lot more about the academy. Although they had only learned some basic information, knowing more could still help with their anxiousness at being at a new place. As for the rumors about the internal conflict in the academy, Zhou Hui merely mentioned that it was unrelated to them. In short, they were not qualified to get involved in the conflict yet. The so-called cutthroat competition mentioned by outsiders only applied to the experts and the geniuses. The weak were unqualified to participate in the game of the strong. In fact, Su Yu could see a look of envy on Zhou Hui's face when talking about conflict. Internal conflict? If I am really dragged into the conflict, I would probably be so happy that I can laugh in my sleep. Envy was plastered all over her face. If one was dragged into a conflict, that would mean that one was a genius, a freak, an expert, an individual of value. In the academy, nobody would care about people with no value. Who would be willing to waste their time rivaling some weaklings? Geniuses, freaks, experts. All these people would not spare any of their time on weaklings. These weaklings were not even qualified to be bullied by them. Thus, according to Zhou Hui, if you really found yourself dragged into a conflict, congratulations were in order. You had become a big deal in the academy. That signified strength, power, and merit points. After listening to Zhou Hui, Su Yu felt enlightened. His mindset had been too rigid previously. Although he had joined the great Zia Cultural Research Academy, he was still unhappy with the internal conflict. He believed that this wasn't how an academy should be. The internal conflict was so serious that even the new students were feeling pressured. But after hearing Zhou Hui's words, he understood. The academy had not forced the students into conflict. Rather, the students themselves were the ones who were too outstanding. If one was outstanding, one would get involved in some conflict regardless of whether one was still a student or a researcher. Geniuses required a lot of merit points, cultivation methods, and resources. That was the same case for the experts as well. And since they needed more, if they didn't compete against each other for the resources, was the sky supposed to rain down resources on them? As for students like Zhou Hui, who would probably only need around 100 merit points over a period of several years in the academy, nobody would think that they were asking for too much. But would Su Yu be happy with just that much? One ought to know that he had used nearly 80 merit points for his recent cultivation. Back in his room, Su Yu sat on introspection. He felt as though the world had opened up before him. A smile formed on his face. Now that he was looking at things from a different perspective, he had naturally reached a different conclusion from before. He exhaled deeply and erased those thoughts from his mind. Picking up the student manual beside him, he started reading. Academy Introduction Section. The academy was mainly separated into 8 major districts: Education District, Commerce District, Residential District, Visitor District, Grotto District, Dao Preaching District, Heart Cultivating Pavilion, and Elderly District. The Visitor District was where Su Yu was currently staying. This place was in charge of receiving new students and providing accommodations to the visiting parents. The Dao Preaching District was a place where some experts would occasionally conduct a public lesson. If one was lucky, one could even observe a willpower text being written or listen to some secret knowledge for free there. The Heart Cultivating Pavilion was the academy's seat of power. Meanwhile, the Elderly District was a place provided for the elderly. Most of the old students of the academy were living there. They formed a large community that was independent from the rest of the academy. As for the other districts, their purpose was obvious enough from their names. The great Zia Cultural Research Academy was massive. From the introduction, it was no smaller than Nanyuan. It also had a large population. There were almost 20,000 students below 30. These were all considered a part of the younger generation. For cultivators, 10 years weren't long. Thus, anyone below 30 would be considered young and full of promise. There were also nearly 10,000 students between 30 to 50. As for those above 50, there were nearly 20,000 of them. At 50 and above, one had basically run out of potential and could hardly achieve willpower materialization. Liu Venyan was simply an exception to the norm. Very few people could replicate what he did. All in all, the academy had around 50,000 students, and many of the students above 30 were also living in the academy with their significant other, children, and other family members. Including the family members, the academy employees, instructors, and researchers, the academy had nearly 100,000 people. That was a lot of people. In fact, many of the business owners in the Commerce District were the family members of the students, instructors, or the researchers. These people were inextricably linked with the academy. 100,000 people. Su Yu was stunned by that number. A population of 100,000 in a single academy. One ought to know that even though Nanyuan claimed to have a population of 1 million, most of those people were actually living outside the city, such as all the surrounding towns and villages. There were only around 300,000 residents in the city itself. Meanwhile, the great Zia Cultural Research Academy was not a city, yet it already had a third of Nanyuan's population. It was basically a small city in itself. After skimming through the academy introduction section, Su Yu moved on to the people introduction section. People introduction section. Principal Wan Tiansheng, 6th principal of the academy. Strength unknown. It was rumored that 50 years ago, when the principal took office, he was already a peak mountain sea cultivator. He was 48 that year. The introduction on Wan Tiansheng wasn't long. But through the introduction, Su Yu learned that the principal was actually 98 this year, and he was already a peak mountain sea cultivator 50 years ago. As for his current strength, nobody knew. He had stayed in the academy for 50 years and rarely fought. Nobody knew his true strength, and even if there was someone out there with that knowledge, it wasn't something mere students would know. For humanity, the information of those at the Mountain Sea realm would always be incomplete and unclear. The public could barely gain any information about these experts. Understandable. Without that strength, he wouldn't have been able to take the position. Su Yu wasn't too surprised, since Wan Tiansheng could ascend to the position 50 years ago and forcefully restore order in the academy. His strength was definitely not to be underestimated. In any case, he was definitely one of those standing at the peak of humanity. As for those in the fabled invincible realm, Su Yu wouldn't even dare to think about those people. People introduction section. Vice principal. There were 3 vice principals in the great Zia Cultural Research Academy. First vice principal, Zhao Mingren, Peak Mountain Sea Realm. Second vice principal, Zia Chengxing, Peak Mountain Sea Realm. Third vice principal, Su Zaiming, Peak Mountain Sea Realm. There wasn't much information about the 3 vice principals. Most of the information about their strength was guesswork. The only one of them with additional information provided was Zia Chengxing. According to the manual, he was someone from the Zia family, the ruling family of Great Zia. The next section was about the senior researchers. Not all the researchers were listed. Only a few of the more popular ones were introduced. Su Yu saw a familiar name in the list. Senior researcher, Hong Tan. He knew that this was Bai Feng's teacher and Liu Wenyan's junior brother. Hong Tan, senior researcher walking the path of divine characters. Cultivation of 8th stage mountain sea realm and specializing in divine character fusions. Deputy head of the divine character faculty. As for the faculty head, the position was held by Vice Principal Zhao Mingren. The character faculty was basically the headquarters of those walking the path of divine characters. But according to the introduction, Hong Tan was rarely involved in the faculty affairs. Apart from the time when he accepted Bai Feng as his student a few years ago, he had rarely made any public appearances. Su Yu continued reading and noted another name. Senior researcher, Wu Yuehua, a senior researcher walking the path of pill making, and an 8th stage mountain sea cultivator. The introduction was short and simple. There was also an addendum noting that she was the grand-aunt of the genius teaching assistant, Wu Qi. Su Yu knew that name. That was Wu Lan's elder sister, a genius of the academy. A lot of people compared her with Bai Feng, and according to many people, she was the stronger one between the two. Wu family. Su Yu exhaled deeply. It was no wonder Wu Lan had so much confidence in herself. She actually had an 8th stage mountain sea cultivator as her grand-aunt. It would be weird if someone like her wasn't confident. If Su Yu had a backer like that, he would be confident as well. After skimming through the senior researcher section, he reached the intermediate researcher section. Zhao Li, intermediate researcher walking the path of weaponsmithing, specializing in forging weapons, and a 7th stage cloud breach cultivator, a leading figure among the weaponsmithing faction. Eccentric nature. Eccentric? Su Yu raised his brow. Zhao Li felt pretty normal the last time they met. Su Yu also noted that Zhao Li was actually ranked quite high among the intermediate researchers. He was actually in the top 3. That was surprising to learn. Su Yu had thought that this fellow was merely bragging, but it turned out that he was really quite capable. Su Yu searched through the section, but he couldn't find a Yui's introduction. That could only mean that researcher Hu wasn't a prominent one among the intermediate researchers. After all, he was still a 7th stage cloud breach cultivator, yet there wasn't even a mention of him in the manual. As for the junior researchers, Su Yu did not pay them much attention. Before long, he reached the assistant researcher section. Zia Yuan, assistant researcher, 9th stage Skyzor realm, a member of the Zia family, number 1 on the top 100 ranking prior to his graduation, and the number 1 teaching assistant of the academy. Wan Tiansheng, assistant researcher, 9th stage Skyzor realm, number 2 on the top 100 ranking prior to his graduation, number 2 teaching assistant. Wu, 8th stage Skyzor realm, Bai Feng 7th stage Skyzor realm. From the introduction, Bai Feng's ranking wasn't that high. He was ranked 11th among the teaching assistants. But a few of the assistants ranked above him were already quite old. Those were all 9th stage Skysor cultivators. If only those below 30 were compared, Bai Feng could rank in the top 5. Apart from Zia Yuan, Hu Wensheng, and Wu Qi, nobody else was his match. Looks like he's really quite strong from the manual. Su Yu understood that Bai Feng was actually quite strong even if he was only a 7th stage Skysor cultivator. After all, he was still young. Very few people could reach the Skysor realm before 30. He also saw the name of Bai Feng's rival, Liu Hong. That person was a 7th stage Skysor cultivator as well. Ranked 14th, he was only slightly behind Bai Feng. Previously, researcher Huang had told him that Liu Hong was still at the 6th stage, and he didn't need to worry too much since Liu Hong wouldn't be Bai Feng's match. But now, Liu Hong had reached the 7th stage as well. Su Yu couldn't help but to be impressed at the speed in which these geniuses were growing. Liu Hong was definitely a genius. If even he couldn't be considered one, then Bai Feng couldn't be considered one either. Halfway through the video. Enjoying the story? Subscribe for more. Chapter 126. All women are obstacles in cultivation, 2 apart from the researchers. The most well-known ranking was the top 100 ranking meant for the students that had yet to graduate. The top 100 ranking excluded those in the Skysor realm and those above 30. The person in first place was Zhan Hai, peak mental tempering stage, 99% willpower, and 26 years old. He walked the path of divine characters, with 3 divine characters mastered. All 3 were powerful, but the abilities of the characters were unknown. Additionally, he was also very capable in physical cultivation. He was a 9th stage infinite strength cultivator. The manuals speculated that Zhan Hai was planning to reach the Skysor realm through physical cultivation first before materializing his willpower, allowing him to stack the strengthening effect on his body that would appear during the advancement. Of course, the chance of him succeeding was quite low. If he did not break through in a year or 2, he would no longer be able to catch up to the likes of Bai Feng. If they were already in the Cloud Breach realm by the time he reached the Skysor realm, not even double forging would allow him to catch up with them. Furthermore, those people were all freaks too. They each had something they were good at. Zhan Hai Su Yu was only casually reading about the researchers as he flipped through the pages. As for Zhan Hai, he did not know that person, nor was he interested in knowing that person. He was only curious as to the strength of someone on the first place of the top 100 ranking. Before long, Su Yu found the information he was looking for. Top 100 ranking, a ranking for students below 30. Any student with 100 or more total earned merit is eligible to challenge a top 100 student. For each challenge, the student is required to pay a fee of 10 merit points. If the challenger fails, the challenged student will receive the merit points. If the challenger succeeds, the merit points will be returned to them. The students on the ranking were grouped into multiple categories of 10. Those from the 91st to the 100th place will receive 3 merit points per month. Those from the 81st to the 90th place will receive 4 merit points per month. Those from the 21st to the 30th place will receive 10 merit points per month. Those from the 11th to the 20th place will receive 15 merit points per month. Those from the 4th to the 10th place will receive 20 merit points and an infinite strength original text per month. Those on the top 3 will receive 30 merit points and an infinite strength original text per month. Those staying on top 3 for half a year will receive a chance to enter a secret grotto. Those staying on top 3 for a year will receive an additional drop of divine or devil blood essence. Suyu was stunned. The rewards were too generous. Those on the top 3 could get 30 merit points and an infinite strength original text per month. That was a monthly reward, not a one-time reward. One ought to know that a single great strength original text could be sold for 30 merit points and above at Nenyuan. How about an infinite strength original text? Just the original text alone was equal to a reward of over 100 merit points per month, and staying on top 3 for half a year would grant one a free chance to enter a secret grotto. As for the first place, one could even earn a drop of divine or devil blood essence. Suyu shook his head. This is unrelated to me. My goal is to get into the top 100 as fast as I can. Then I can start earning 3 merit points per month. That might not sound like a lot, but after a year, he could earn 36 merit points. That was a decent number. Where else could a mental tempering stage student earn that many merit points? Those Suyu had earned previously were mostly due to luck. If he hadn't worked alongside the city guards and the martial dragon guards, he would probably only be able to kill a high-stage great strength cultivator, earning him 3 merit points. To earn that many each month, he would have to kill a great strength cultivator each month. It wasn't easy for a mental tempering stage student to do that. And this was the capital. He might not even get that chance. Unless he was willing to go to the wilderness and hunt for cult members, it would be a lot harder. But if he actually went to the wilderness, he could easily get himself killed. Work hard and reach the top 100. Suyu's gaze landed on the person on the last place of the ranking, Lin Qing. You'll be my next target. Lin Qing, 100th place on the top 100 ranking. A student for 5 years. Peak mental tempering stage. 7th stage great strength, realm. Even someone in last place was so strong. Almost nobody on the ranking was below the peak mental tempering stage. The few that weren't at that level had infinite strength realm cultivation, so they were just as scary. This top 100 ranking was basically the equivalent of the Great Zia War Academy's infinite strength ranking. Infinite strength, Suyu exhaled deeply. He still didn't have that much strength yet. Even when using blood essence to obtain the offensive strength of a 7th stage great strength cultivator and his divine characters, he was probably only strong enough to face a 9th stage great strength cultivator. The moment he encountered an infinite strength cultivator, things would turn bad. He had personally witnessed the strength of an infinite strength cultivator before. A bunch of high-stage great strength cultivators had attacked such an opponent together, only to suffer disastrous casualties. Any carelessness would grant the opponent the chance to even win the fight. Back then, Suyu had only interrupted that person for a split second, and his head already felt like bursting. And that was only a pure warrior. In the academy, these students had powerful willpower as well. Even Lin Qing in the 100th place was at the peak of the mental tempering stage. Suyu's divine character interruption might fail or even suffer a backlash against an opponent like that. He simply stood no chance against her. I'm still not strong enough to challenge the 100th place. Only when I reach the great strength realm and mental tempering stage and further strengthen my 2 divine characters can I challenge her. Suyu took a deep breath and clenched his fists. He encouraged himself that he could do it. Life was too hard for a poor person like him. As for the fact that Lin Qing was a woman, so what if she was a woman? He did not care about gender when he needed to beat someone up. It wasn't like caring about gender would give him merit points. His mentor's right. All women were obstacles in the path of cultivation. Just look at Lin Qing. She was his first obstacle in the academy. At the same time, residential district teaching assistant zone. In a small villa, Wu Lan was in high spirits as she spoke to a girl beside her. Big Sister Qing, I'll be challenging you soon. Wait for me. Lin Qing flashed a gentle smile and said, Lan, you need to get 100 total earned merit points first. But by that time, I might have reached the top 50 already. Wu Lan clenched her tiny fist and declared unyieldingly, I won't take long at all. I'm already at the mental tempering stage. Before long, I'll reach the peak of the mental tempering stage. At that time, I'll be able to accept a lot more missions than now." The more she spoke, the more excited she was. She continued, "Big Sister Ching, I've decided, after the registration I'll follow the great Zia army out for some missions." Lin Qing first looked at her with astonishment. Then, she worriedly said, "Ridiculous. You're planning to accept the great Zia army's missions? Of course." Wu Lan continued speaking with excitement. "Only then would I be able to earn merit points quickly. I know a guy. He's very weak with only 20% willpower, but he joined the Windcatcher department on a mission and managed to kill an infinite strength cultivator, earning him an additional 10 merit points. His total earned merit is even higher than mine." Lin Qing stared at her for a long time before saying, "I'll tell teacher about this." Her teacher was none other than Wu Qi, a 20-years-old freak. After entering the Sky Azor realm, she became a teaching assistant. 5 years ago, she accepted Lin Qing as her personal student. Now, Lin Qing had entered the top 100 ranking. Meanwhile, not even some junior and intermediate researchers could nurture a disciple capable of entering the top 100 ranking. Wu Lan objected rebelliously. "If that fellow can take these missions, why can't I? I know." "You all think that I know nothing. How can I know nothing? Tempering at the edge of life and death is the best way of strengthening myself. You're all simply afraid that I would die during the mission. If that really happens, that's my fate." Back then, my elder sister wouldn't have been able to reach the Skysoar realm so early if it wasn't for the missions she took either, Lin Qing advised. "Lan, you've just joined the academy. You aren't even at the Great Strength realm yet. It is ridiculous to accept those missions now. That's the same as throwing your life away. But he's not at the Great Strength realm either." "Who?" "Su Yu, Wulan Fumit, that fellow from Nanyuan. Teaching assistant Bai Feng's student." "Su Yu?" Lin Qing muttered and said, "It's different. Lan, the students from small cities are willing to risk their lives for a better future. It's different for you. You have a higher starting line. That is a part of your assets. Why neglect your advantage and pursue something that will put you at a disadvantage?" Wu Lan frowned. "I don't care. I'll keep my eyes on him. Last time he placed first while I placed second. At the time he was so cocky when he laughed. I need to repay him for that. And I need to do this myself." However, she had already decided to inform her teacher the moment she left seclusion. There was no way she would allow Wu Lan to mess around. One of the teachings of the Wu family was to not take any dangerous missions before the Skisor realm. Things would be troublesome if something happened to Wu Lan during one of these missions. While she was thinking, Wu Lan said, "Since my sister is still in seclusion, I'll be leaving. That fellow is probably here already. He is definitely secretly cultivating somewhere. I need to go back and cultivate as well." Lin Qing did not know whether to laugh or cry. This was an academy. Was there a need for that fellow to secretly cultivate? This Wu Lan was clearly seeing Su Yu as her rival. "Don't be rash. Lan, if you really don't like him, I'll teach him a lesson for you." "No thanks," Wu Lan furiously said. "I want to compete fairly. I'll defeat him and arrogantly laugh in front of him. I'll make him furious. I've decided. I will no longer accept the merit points of the family. I need to earn my own merit points. I will rely on myself to defeat him." Lin Qing was helpless. She could only tell herself that this Wu Lan was being immature. Was refusing her family's merit points the correct way to prove herself? Wu Lan was too young, too rash, and too immature. There was no comparing her with Wu Qi. Even neglecting their talent, their mentality was very different as well. When Wu Qi first joined the academy, she was prejudiced against by many people as well. But being born in the Wu family was one of her strengths. If Wu Qi had the same mentality as Wu Lan, she wouldn't have been able to come this far, becoming one of the top genius teaching assistants of the academy. Lin Qing gave up on persuading Wu Lan. She wouldn't be able to change her mind. She could only wait for her teacher to leave seclusion before doing anything. After this cultivation session, her teacher could probably reach the 9th stage Skyzor realm. At that thought, Lin Qing grew excited as well. With her teacher as a 9th stage Skyzor realm, if she could quickly reach the Skyzor realm as well, her teacher would be promoted into a full researcher. After that, she would receive even more support in her cultivation. Chapter 127. Fate brought us together one that night. There were no senior brothers or sisters knocking on their doors like Zhou Hui had mentioned. Take your luggage with you. Zhou Hui was in the midst of talking to the gathered students. When we reach the main campus, free accommodation will no longer be provided. This place is also not free at any other time. This place is also not free at any other time. Take your merit cards, bank cards, and acceptance letters with you. Around Zhou Hui, the other senior students were reminding their junior students as well. We'll get on vehicle 18 later. Don't go the wrong way. All of you will be registered and assigned together. As for the faculty choices, some of you will have your faculty chosen for you, while some are free to choose your faculty. Since they were in a rush, Suyu and company only grabbed a simple breakfast before leaving. The visitor district was quite a distance away from the main campus. If they went on foot, some of the physically weaker students would probably be incapable of walking that far. If this was a war academy instead, students so weak physically wouldn't exist. Before long, they walked out of the building. Outside, a long row of vehicles was waiting for them. Students could be seen everywhere. There were slightly less than 2,000 new students this year. Some had gone straight to the main campus. Even so, there was still nearly 1,000 new students here at Visitor District. Each vehicle could carry 20 students, and there were around 50 of these vehicles waiting along the road. Suyu started looking around, wondering if those from the Nanyuan had arrived. He did not know if their journey had been smooth after his departure. There were too many people around and he couldn't see any familiar faces. Before long, everyone was on the vehicles. When Suyu saw the petite girl called Luque struggling with 2 suitcases, he offered to help, but she merely looked at him cautiously, worried that he would ask for merit points. Suyu was left speechless and could only rescind his offer to help. Did he look like a villain or something? On the vehicle, after confirming that everyone was there, Zhao Hui said, "Everyone, don't run around randomly during registration. When you encounter old students, don't interact with them too much unless you actually know them." Zhou Hui solemnly said, "I'll be frank. We have a lot of crazies in the academy. Some of them are those whose willpower had collapsed from cultivation. Most of the time, they look completely normal. They won't do anything unprovoked, but the moment you provoked one, you might end up getting beaten to death. Sure, the crazy would suffer the consequences as well, but you would be dead anyway, so that wouldn't matter to you." Zhou Hui was stern as she warned, "I'm being serious. Don't treat this lightly. Some of these people are even researchers. You should understand how strong a researcher is. A casual strike is enough to take your life. Of course, these incidents are rare, but they have really happened before. I'm warning you. If you provoke such trouble yourself, nobody will pity you." Everyone turned solemn as well. Nobody dared to neglect her warning. Liu Ke asked fearfully, "Senior sister, won't the academy deal with those people?" "Of course the academy would," Zhou He gloomily said. "But they can't inspect the academy every single day. Some people have been in seclusion for a long time. After leaving seclusion, nobody would know that they have gone mad if they still behave normally. And the moment they behave abnormally, someone would suffer from that. What else could the academy do in that situation?" Liu Ke paled as she asked, "We won't meet one later, right?" Zhou Hui smiled and said, "Don't say that. Normally, the more you say that something won't happen, the easier it is for something to happen." She was only scaring them. There were really not that many crazies walking around. These new students were the most disobedient lot. The more talented ones, in particular, were incredibly haughty. They were the hardest to deal with. Since she had 2 high-tier students in her group, it was better for her to scare them for a bit. The vehicle started moving. Zhou Hui stopped talking about the crazies. Instead, she said, "When your family and friends visit in the future, they can stay in the visitor district. When you return late from missions, you can stay here as well. Also, there are more food options here. The taste is quite good. A lot of old students like to eat here. This place is actually a famous food street of the academy." Zhou Hui licked her lips and smiled. "For food, remember to come here. Those in the commerce district won't do it. That place mostly sells cultivation resources, while the visitor district specializes in food and entertainment. There are also a lot of fashion stores here, so a lot of girls like to shop for new clothes here that caught the attention of the females in the group. Not far ahead is a shop called House of Women. Their clothes are pretty and cheap. Feel free to visit when you have some time. If you give my name to the shopkeeper, You can get a discount." The students were already familiar with her, so one of them laughed and said, "Senior sister, would you receive an introduction fee if you give your name?" Zhou Hui did not mind and said, "Who cares about a small fee like that? How much can some clothes cost? The clothes there are really pretty. If we're doing introduction fees, we would normally work with those high-profit businesses." Zhou Hui's gaze landed on Liu Ke and Su Yu as she said, "If any of you want to purchase some original texts, weapons, blood essence, pills, or talismans, you can look for me too. I'll introduce you to some reliable sellers. Also, if you don't have merit points but are rich in cash, you can look for me as well. Some of the less restricted resources can actually be bought with cash. You can also look for me if you want to buy or sell contribution points." Liu Ke asked in astonishment, "Senior sister, private merit point transactions are illegal." Zhou Hui smiled. "That is only applicable to large transactions. Small amounts of private transactions are fine. Some of the students can't even afford to feed themselves and put a roof over their heads. They only have a small number of merit points. Are you going to stop them from selling those points for food and shelter? Some students come from poor families. If their parents encountered trouble and they need some cash, what could they do apart from selling some merit points?" Zhou Hui sighed and said, "If possible, nobody would wish to sell their merit points. But there are situations where people are at the end of the line." All the new students sank into silence, but Su Yu curiously asked, "How many merit points would be considered a large volume?" "Above 100 points, and you would need to start watching your backs." Zhou Hui reminded, "Your merit cards have a notification system for any transaction above 100 merit points. All the transactions are logged." "What's the exchange rate?" Zhou Hui said. "For us, merit points are necessities, not cash. The sale of merit points has always been a gray area. Thus, the market rate ranges between 30,000 to 50,000 for 1 point." $50,000. Su Yu was speechless. That was a very high variance. As expected of unregulated transactions, the difference between the highest and lowest rate was actually so high. Liu Ke said, "Even with merit points, without enough total earned merit, you won't be able to buy anything anyway." Zhou Hui rolled her eyes and said, "If you have enough merit points, you won't have to worry about not being able to buy what you want. Take me as an example. With my total earned merit, the Academy allows me to buy an infinite strength original text per month for about 100 merit points each. Those without enough total earned merit won't be allowed to buy in. With the original text in hand, I would ignore anyone offering to buy it from me with cash. But if someone offers 200 merit points for it, would I sell it?" Zhou Hui smiled. "You can actually make a lot selling what you buy through the official channel. Of course, there would be a limit to what you can get from the official channel. For example, if I intend to get into the business of infinite strength original text selling, I would only be able to sell 1 per month. In truth, the volume is too small to be helpful. The time they spend waiting for me to buy 1 book per month could be used to bring their total merit earned up instead. There are actually some people specializing in this business in the Academy. They will survey the Academy each month to figure out what the students need the most for the month. Then, they will start contacting people to buy and sell the resources that are in demand. The Academy would turn a blind eye most of the time, but you would still lose a lot if you are unlucky enough to have your business raided by the Academy." Zhou Hui shook her head and sighed. "Not long ago, we organized a large sale, but the Academy raided us and over 100 students lost nearly 10,000 merit points from the raid, and there was absolutely nothing we could do about it." One of the new students hurriedly asked, "Would the Academy really do that?" "Of course." Zhou Hui gnashed her teeth in anger. "The Academy is actually very sly as well. Those reporting an unauthorized transaction will receive 1% of the merit points obtained from the raid. Someone must have reported us, making nearly 100 merit points by stabbing all of us in the back. That person better hide well, or all those fellows who had lost some merit points to the raid would beat that fellow to death." Zhou Hui had clearly lost some merit points during the raid as well, but she probably hadn't lost that many. She didn't look that rich anyway. Su Yu merely shook his head and said nothing. It would seem like this wasn't an easy business to do at all. It would be fine when the Academy was turning a blind eye, but the moment one was raided by the Academy, one would make a massive loss. But would the Academy actually be unaware of these private transactions? They were merely unbothered about the smaller transactions. Only upon reaching a certain volume of transactions would the Academy make a move and raid the black market, delivering a massive loss to all of them. After a while, the new students finally saw the main campus. They knew they had arrived because there was a massive gate leading into the main campus. Using the word gate was not that accurate. To be precise, a massive archway acted as a gate of sorts. Some armored soldiers could be seen standing guard around the gate. Suyu knew that those weren't the city guards. Rather, they were the Academy guards. The Academy had the rights to establish a private security force. The great Zia Cultural Research Academy had 1,000 Academy guards. There were a decent number of experts among them. The 8 guards standing around the gate were basically blinding clumps of light to Suyu's senses. That signified that these people were at the infinite strength realm, or beyond. All 8 of them were that strong. "Get off the vehicle," shouted Zhou He before leaving the vehicle herself. The new students hurriedly followed behind her. A while later, they started lining up to go through the gate. Suyu and company were waiting in line when a group of people arrived behind them. "Get out of the way!" With that shout, a group of good-looking young men and women walked forward. Leading the group was a man of roughly 30 years old. The group walked straight to the gate without sparing anyone else a glance. "Open the door." The regular students like Suyu were lining up to get through the main gate. Beside the main gate was a smaller door. That door was being opened for these newcomers. Sounds of discussion broke out. Don't they need to line up? It was obvious those people were new students, and some even had their luggage with them. They were quite young, and some were curiously looking around. One of the students in Suyu's group was unhappy and asked, "Senior sister, what is this?" Zhao Hui wasn't surprised as she said, "Ignore them. Those fellows are from the Bai Feng club. There are many regional clubs in the academy. You should be aware of that. These clubs have paid some money to the academy for priority entrance," someone said unhappily. "Why is the academy so greedy?" Zhou He smiled and said, "You can do so if you're rich enough as well. Since they have the money to burn, nobody cares what they do with their money. They are the ones insisting on showing off this way. I'll have you know that for this special entrance, they are paying at least 100 merit points per entry. Would you be willing to pay that much?" Nobody answered. Chapter 128. Fate brought us together too, not here. Liu, he did not mind. He said, "A high student has appeared in Nenyuan this year. He is Suyu, an outstanding student assistant Bai Feng had accepted in advance. A genius like this will easily rise to prominence in the academy. It won't take him long to reach the Skysoar realm. I heard that a high student from Nenyuan is much stronger than the so-called freaks from the capital. Why? Because that is someone from Nenyuan. Why? Because that is someone from Nenyuan. When he arrives, everyone should learn more from him. I'll be waiting for him at the top 100 ranking. I hope he can surpass me quickly. Otherwise, others will think that Assistant Bai is blind. Assistant Bai is very strong. I hope that student Suyu doesn't disappoint either." He then turned and stepped through the side door. The crowd stirred after hearing those words. High genius? Student of a genius teaching assistant? Even stronger than the freaks. They naturally understood the meaning behind Lu He's words. He sounded like he was praising Bai Feng, but he was actually insulting Bai Feng in an indirect manner. Back then, Bai Feng had refused to accept him. Now, Bai Feng had finally accepted a student. He would be waiting for that student in the top 100 ranking. Could that student even enter the ranking? By saying those words, he could both insult Bai Feng and attract some trouble for Suyu. After all, he was a Nenyuan genius. He was better than the freaks of the capital. Could he shoulder such a praise? Beside Liu He, a young man smiled and said, "Big brother Liu, why bother? He's just a new student. Those fellows from the Zia and Hu families won't even bother. Be careful lest they come looking for you instead." Liu He calmly said, "I'm not worried about those new students. If they really come after me, I'll teach them a good lesson. As for that Suyu, I don't care how good he is or how talented he is. I just don't want everyone to keep comparing the two of us. He was Liu He, a student in the top 100 ranking, a student rejected by Bai Feng, and Suyu was a student accepted by Bai Feng. Thus, a lot of people had been comparing him with Suyu. using him as a prop to boost Su Yu's reputation. He was very unhappy about that. That was basically the same case as his elder brother Liu Hong and Bai Feng, with his elder brother being the one used as a prop to showcase Bai Feng's talent. It didn't matter if those two were geniuses, but why must Liu Hong and Liu He be their stepping stones? Liu He did not say anything else. In truth, he didn't really care that much about Su Yu. He had only said all those words earlier because his elder brother had said that they should humiliate Bai Feng any chance they could get. Since Bai Feng was not willing to show them any respect, they would do the same to him. It wasn't like it was a secret that Liu Hong and Bai Feng were rivals. Everyone knew the two disliked each other. After a while, he suddenly spoke. Su Yu is only a new student. He is not worth our attention. Don't waste too much effort on him. Just put him in his place if you happen to see him. Your actual priority is to get into the top 100 ranking as soon as possible. The more people we can get in the ranking, the more stable our position would be in the academy. We will try to get into the ranking in 1 year. I hope so. Liu He didn't really have much hope that these people could really do that. They were all new students. Not everyone was like him, capable of getting into the top 100 ranking in 1 year. Many of these people were high-tier students, but the academy would accept over 100 students like them each year. Zhao Hui and the students in their group looked at Su Yu in astonishment. Su Yu, from Nanyuan, was that him? Zhao Hui and Liu Ke were able to guess Su Yu's identity, but the other students in their group were still clueless. The two were looking at Su Yu with odd gazes. Liu Ke asked worriedly, Su Yu, are you the same Su Yu he was referring to? Su Yu nodded with a smile. Then, Liu Ke did not know what to say. She whispered, You've offended him greatly. Su Yu smiled and said, I don't even know him. How did I offend him? Liu Ke said, After those words, those freaks will start targeting you. Su Yu laughed and said, They'll come after me just because of those words. In that case, these people wouldn't be freaks, they would be fools. And against foolsy, still believe in my ability to deal with fools. Su Yu shook his head and continued. The true freaks wouldn't target me because of those words. Instead, they would look for Liu He. The further you can see, the higher you can reach. If they really come after me because of this, they aren't true freaks. At most, they are people with a good starting line. I am not afraid of people like them. He was serious. If those people would really target a student with a lower score than them in the entrance examination, just because of those words, were they really freaks? Or were they fools? People that were so rash and impatient were truly not worth fearing. If someone tried inciting him by saying that a high-middle student was much better than him, would he go after the high-middle student? Unless that high-middle student was the one looking for him, he wouldn't. Beside him, Zhou Hui looked at him with a deep gaze before saying with a smile, Junior brother Su, you're very impressive. Even I was worried for you earlier when Liu He spoke, but you seem completely unbothered. A look of anticipation covered her face as she asked, Junior brother, are you really a high student? Yeah, I heard cough. I heard that the mark of culture was damaged during your test. Is that true? I guess. Then Zhou Hui asked curiously, Are you really weaker than a true high student? The other students in the group also looked at Su Yu curiously. Su Yu smiled and said, It's pointless to ask me that. You should ask the proctors. But after a slight pause, Su Yu continued, I believe that my exam result is quite good. I shouldn't be that far off from the high evaluation. If anyone believes they can do better, they are free to try me. Su Yu sounded indifferent, but he was actually quite angry as well. Did everyone really think that he was only a high student because of luck? Hu Zhongji believed that. The others believed that as well. They all thought that they would have gotten a high evaluation if they had taken the same test. Dream on. Wu Lan was a genius, right? But even she had only barely gotten a high evaluation at Nenyuan. Prior to that, she was already a high-middle student in the capital. I'll keep a low profile for a bit. After reaching the great strength realm and mental tempering stage, I'll challenge the top 100 ranking. Liu Hemph, you will be my next target after Lin Cheng. Su Yu was gnashing his teeth in anger. No matter what, he was still 18. He couldn't avoid feeling angry after having his ability questioned so many times. He had stayed silent when he was looking for him earlier. Since he was still weak, he would only humiliate himself if he stepped out. It was completely pointless for him to carry out a verbal spar with he either. After all, a dog that bites would not bark, cough, cough. A low-profile individual would not waste his breath with empty words. He would wait until he was strong enough before stepping on the face of his opponent. That was what a real man should do. Hu, Zongji, Liu, remember this. Suyu noted the two names down. He only needed to teach Hu Zongji a small lesson. As for Liu, he needed to be taught an even bigger lesson. There's also Zhou Tianqi and his friends. There's also Liu Hong after I beat up Liu Jr. Maybe Liu Sr. would show up. Would Hu Yui take part as well? Suyu sank into thought. He wondered if he should start keeping a diary like Chen Hao and note down the names of the ones who had wronged him. In the future, he would take his revenge on them one by one. Chen Hao's dream was to take revenge on his father by emptying his father's pocket one day. As for Suyu, he was far more ambitious. He wanted to empty the pockets of all those fellows. As Suyu contemplated in silence, the others thought that he did not wish to continue the topic. Thus, they stopped asking. Even so, they were starting to pay him more attention. After all, he was a high student. At the same time, deep in the academy, within a research center, Bai Feng answered a call and spoke while yawning. "A new semester is starting? That's fast." "Liu," he said some harsh words at the gate. Bai Feng blanked out. "Who you?" Bai Feng blanked out. Who's Liu? The other person on the line blanked out as well. After a while, he said, "Liu Hong's little brother." "Oh, I see," Bai Feng complained. "Can you stop mentioning these unknown names to me? Just say he's Liu Hong's little brother. I'm very busy. I don't have the time to remember all those names. If it's someone from the Zia family, just say Zia Yuan's nephew or brother or grandson or anything. The same goes for those from the Hu family. Just don't mention their names. I won't know who they are." "Suyu is already here, right? Did that kid show himself earlier?" "No," Bai Feng muttered. "Is he this patient? It's not good to act like an old man when you're a young man. He should declare war against Liu Hong's little brother. What is he afraid of? Just challenge him to a duel 3 months later. The loser will shut his mouth. That is how a real man should act." The other person on the line was really tired of speaking with Bai Feng. He said, "Bai Feng, he's a new student. Liu, he has been in the academy for a year. He's also in the top 100 ranking." "Top 100 ranking?" Bai Feng was indifferent. "So what? It's not like he's in the top 10. Everyone below that is worthless. Only those in the top 10 are worth noting. Everyone else is worthless. I won't change my opinion on that." "He's a new student," the other person emphasized. He was starting to get angry. Did Bai Feng understand his words? "Oh yeah, you're right. It's fine. He can wait a few months before beating that little brother up then. Beat him until he can't walk fine. Help me observe him. I'll come out in a few days. Remember, don't let anyone steal him. If anyone tries to poach him, go tell Suyu that I can help him get into the top 100 ranking in 3 months. Can you stop bluffing? What's there to fear? He won't know I'm bluffing. If he can't do it in 3 months, he can only blame himself for being useless. Would he be shameless enough to say that I'm a bad teacher? All right, that's all. I'm almost done with my research. If Suyu dares to go somewhere else, I'll break his leg. If it wasn't for him, would I need to stay in this lab for months? That's your fault." The other person was furious. If Bai Feng had not incited their teacher to leave the academy, they wouldn't have to face all these troubles. This was a hole Bai Feng had dug for himself. Bai Feng couldn't be bothered to argue and ended the call. He then muttered to himself, "This won't do. I need to give that kid a simple lesson after a few days before bringing him to the research center. He can do some odd jobs in the research center or something. I'm so busy I don't even have enough time to sleep. Can his body withstand 20 hours of work per day?" He made a short calculation and decided that 4 hours of sleep per day was enough. A genius needed to temper himself properly. 4 hours of sleep per day was enough to keep Suyu alive. Many people dream of entering this research center. You should be happy to be given the opportunity to enter, kid. Chapter 129 Outside the Gate. It was finally Su Yu's turn to enter. He stepped through the gate, officially entering the great Zia Cultural Research Academy. Towering trees dotted the landscape, while colorful flowers could be seen all around the streets. The entire academy was akin to a garden. In the middle of all that nature, small animals could be seen freely frolicking around. Not far away, some man-made lakes could be seen, decorated by elegant lotuses. "How beautiful!" Liu Ke exclaimed. The others nodded in agreement. The main campus was truly beautiful. The oppressive atmosphere from before couldn't be felt anymore. Zhao Hui was already used to this environment, so she felt nothing. After giving the new students some time to look around, Zhao Hui said, "Let's go to the registration office. You have plenty of time to enjoy this view in the future." A few minutes later, they arrived at the arrival hall. They still needed to line up, but this time 10 counters had been opened for the registration. Thus, the process was rather quick. After about 10 minutes, it was their turn to register. Liu Ke Haitia. "Are you staying in the mental tempering garden?" The person on the counter was an instructor instead of a researcher. The instructor asked, "If you're staying in the mental tempering garden, you need to pay either $50,000 or 1 merit point as the fee." "I'm staying there." Liu Ke hurriedly nodded. She had heard about the normal dormitory from Zhao Hui. There she would have to stay with 7 other students. It was too crowded for her liking. She added, "I'm paying in cash, not merit points." "Okay, $67,000 in total." After swiping her card, the registration was completed. The entire process did not take long. In the blink of an eye, $67,000 were spent. Su Yu was in a gloomy mood as he cursed at the academy for being so greedy. What should he choose? Next, it was his turn. When he submitted his acceptance letter, the instructor checked his profile before looking up in surprise. "Su Yu?" "Here, here." "So you're Su Yu." The instructor smiled. "You're quite famous around here. The mental tempering garden is split into several zones as well. So which zone do you prefer? The common zone or high-level zone?" Su Yu was speechless. Why wasn't the instructor asking if he wanted to stay in the mental tempering garden or not? But his interest was piqued, so he asked, "Teacher, is there a difference?" "Yes. The common zone is basically a zone of apartment blocks. Each unit is small, but you can still get a unit for yourself. However, you will be surrounded by neighbors. In the high-level zone, you will get an independent villa for yourself. The environment is good and it's suitable for cultivation. There's also the special zone. You can get an independent villa there too, but the source chi density there is far higher. For the common zone, you need to pay 1 merit point per year. For the high-level zone, it's 10 merit points per year. The special zone is even more expensive, at 100 merit points per year. I suggest you pick the high-level zone. The special zone will put too much pressure on you, while the common zone is not too good. As a high student, you will get 3 merit points per month from the academy. A fee of 10 merit points per year is really not that expensive for you. Not everyone will be given this offer. I'm only asking you because you're a high student. Those lower-tier students won't be able to go further than the common zone, even if they have the merit points. To enter the high-level and special zones, you need enough total earned merit." Su Yu felt helpless. He did not have enough money. Or to be precise, he lacked merit points. He had spent all the merit points he had earned previously, while the points he had earned on the way had yet to be transferred to him. "Teacher, I'll be staying in the ordinary dorm." "Huh?" The instructor looked at Su Yu in astonishment and said, "Kid, don't be too stingy or you'll regret it." Su Yu helplessly said, "I don't have merit points, don't worry." "I checked. You just received a credit of 42 merit points earlier. I wouldn't have asked otherwise." Su Yu did not know whether to laugh or cry. So it turned out this instructor could see the balance of his merit points. No wonder he was offered the high-level and special zones immediately. It would seem like the academy had already processed his rewards. They were quite efficient with their work. Su Yu heaved a breath of relief. With some merit points in pocket, he would no longer feel as stressed. As for the high-level zone, that was too expensive for him. After all, he really didn't want to stay at the regular dorm. There were too many people there for him to cultivate in peace. He could also easily expose himself when consuming blood essence for cultivation there. I still suggest that you stay in the high-level zone. Despite saying so, the instructor still completed the registration process for him. After completing the paperwork, he said, "Go pick up your books and uniform in the afternoon. You will be given more instructions in regard to that at the dorm." "Thank you, teacher." After thanking the instructor, Suyu was given a key. When Suyu returned to the group, Zhao Hui asked, "Are you staying in the mental tempering garden?" "Yeah, great. I'm staying there too." Zhao Hui smiled. "My mission is now over. You and Liu Kei can come with me. We'll be going the same way." Suyu had been worried about getting lost. Therefore, he was relieved to hear the offer. "Thank you, senior sister. Don't worry about it." Zhao Hui was no longer concerned about the other students who were still waiting in line. They would receive their accommodation after completing the registration process. She had already told them about the location of the dorms on their way here, so she didn't need to worry about them anymore. Dragging 2 large suitcases with her, Liu Kei walked alongside them. While walking, she looked at Suyu curiously and asked, "Student Suyu, did you receive merit points from your family earlier?" She had overheard that Suyu had received 42 merit points earlier today. He was so rich. Of course, as a high-tier student, she didn't really lack merit points either. She was merely curious since Suyu was from Nanyuan. She had heard that he came from an ordinary family. How did he get so many merit points? Suyu smiled and answered, "Yeah, my father transferred the points to me. Uncle Su is so generous," Liu Kei said enviously. "Before I left, my father told me to rely on myself and only gave me 30 merit points." Suyu had nothing to say. Was everyone here so rich? Why did it feel like they could easily throw dozens of merit points out at will? But that was understandable. Their daughter was leaving home and coming to an academy alone. It wasn't cheap to study in the academy, and her family would naturally support her the best they could. Even Chen Hao had secretly told Suyu that his father had given him over 20 merit points before leaving Nanyuan. They conversed while walking, and before long, a garden neighborhood appeared before them. Some guards could be seen around the entrance. Even from the outside, they could see the towering trees in the neighborhood. Zhao Hui introduced, "The mental tempering garden is very big, but only students below 30 can stay here. New students can enter if they are high-tier students, while old students need to be at the mental tempering stage. In fact, most of the mental tempering stage students are staying here. There are nearly 5,000 of them here. There are 50 ordinary apartment blocks here. Each block is 6-story tall with 20 units per floor. A single block can house 6,000 students. There's also the high-level zone that is separate from the common zone. With 50 blocks, this place could be considered a large neighborhood." Zhao Hui smiled. "The 2 of you have probably been assigned to Block 3 and 4. The students above 30 have already moved out of those 2 blocks. The academy has emptied them to accommodate the new students." Suyu looked at the number on his key and nodded. "Unit 609 of Block 3. In that case, Liu Kei would be staying in Block 4. Block 3 is for the guys, while Block 4 is for the girls." Liu Kei looked at her key and said, "Yeah, I'm staying at Unit 303 of Block 4. Zhou Hui pointed at the blocks ahead of them and said, "Your blocks are over there. I'm staying at Block 28. Feel free to visit me if you're free. You can also ask me if there's anything you don't understand." As they walked, they could see some old students passing by. But most of the students appeared to be in a rush and were ignoring them. A few minutes later, they arrived at Block 3. That was a regular apartment block. As the mental tempering garden had quite a long history, the building looked rather old even though it had been refitted in the past. "Suyu, I won't send you up." Zhou Hui took his leave. With a happy smile, she said, "You have my number. Remember to call me if you need me. Thank you for everything, senior sister." "Don't worry about it," Zhou Hui said. "If you stumble on anything good, don't forget your senior sister. Old students like us have it hard. Any random benefit from geniuses like you would be enough to satisfy us." Suyu nodded with a smile, but he didn't say anything. He could barely get anything for himself, so he couldn't promise anything. Furthermore, he wasn't exactly close to Zhao Hu. Of course, if there was something he could do to help her without much effort on his end, he wouldn't mind helping. "Goodbye, student Suyu." Liu Ke waved at him and hurriedly ran off with Zhao He, as though she was afraid of him. Su Yu was speechless. He did not look like a bad guy. Why did Liu Ke keep treating him like he was some villain? As this was an old building, there was no elevator. There were very few people in the building since it had been allocated to the new students. The entire building was silent. On the 6th floor, Unit 6-9. When Su Yu opened the door, a moldy smell waffled out. It had been a while since the previous resident moved out, so the smell was quite bad. Before Su Yu could enter the unit, someone laughed heartily beside him and said, "Student, do you need help?" Su Yu turned his head and was greeted by the sight of a chubby, honest, and comical-looking guy. When he saw Su Yu looking at him, the guy smiled and said, "Student, you must be a new student as well. The unit is very dirty. I checked earlier. Do you need my help cleaning it?" Su Yu looked at him and asked, "Is it free?" Chapter 130, Independence 2 in the room. Su Yu shook his head and laughed. He was certain that this fellow would definitely be able to get some customers. Almost all the residents of the mental tempering garden were high-tier geniuses. Many of them were from large families. These units were too dirty. These students wouldn't mind paying 1 merit point to have their units cleaned. This is quite a good business idea. Su Yu sighed as he grumbled, "I have 2 divine characters, but why don't they have this ability as well? Otherwise, I would definitely be able to earn a lot today." There were over 100 units in a single block. Even if the building wasn't fully inhabited, there would be no less than 60 residents in the building. Even if only half of them were willing to pay, he could earn 30 merit points. That was a big business. He could finish the job quickly and safely to earn the equivalent of what he could earn from killing 3 early-stage infinite-strength cultivators. He was regretful. There was nothing he could do if his divine characters were so lame. After setting his luggage down, he scanned the room. Not only was it dirty, it also lacked the usual daily necessities. Sigh. He had to spend even more money. The academy had charged him $17,000 and 1 merit point earlier, leaving him with around $5,000 and 41 merit points. Let's clean this place up first. After picking up a random rug, Su Yu started cleaning the unit. While Su Yu was cleaning, there were more and more activities in Block 3. The new students were moving in one after another. Not everyone could afford staying in the high-level zone. And even some who could afford it wouldn't be willing to stay there. It would be too much of a waste to spend 10 merit points per year just for a slightly better accommodation. Some of the students also chose to stay in the common zone only because they enjoyed the lively environment there. A villa was good, but it was too lonely living alone. The apartment block here felt much more welcoming than an empty villa. As for the ordinary dormitories, they were too crowded and would not be beneficial for one's cultivation. The common zone of the mental tempering garden was perfect. Each student would get a single apartment unit while everyone would be in the same building. As Block 3 bustled with noise and excitement, a chubby guy was moving all over the building, earning a sizable sum of merit points. While the old students were still worrying over making merit points, this chubby guy had already earned more than 10 merit points just by cleaning some apartment units. Making money is quite easy, the chubby guy remarked to himself. This felt too easy. This was his first day in the academy, and he had already earned more than 10 merit points, and there seemed to be even more new students arriving. He could probably earn at least 30 merit points by the end of the day. He was currently busy cleaning an apartment unit. Beside him, the student asked curiously, "Student, what is your divine character?" "Is cleaning its sole ability?" The chubby guy smiled and said, "That is its only ability for now." "That's a waste of an ability. What a pity." The student felt regretful for him. He said, "By the way, what's your name?" "Zia Hu." "What's your name?" "Zia Hu, misleading scammer." The student was stunned. What sort of a name was that? The chubby hurriedly explained. "No, it's Zia for Great Zia, Hu for Tiger, and you for especially. Zia Hu, that's my name. Zia. Zia." The student asked blankly, "Don't tell me you're from that Zia family." "You can say so. I'm a distant relative of the family." Zia Hu had a helpless tone as he said, "The Zia family has been in existence for so many years. There are a lot of people with that surname walking around nowadays, but apart from the direct descendants of the great Zia king, the rest of us are basically the same as the regular people." The new student nodded. True. Otherwise, it would be too scary to imagine a Zia family member cleaning my room for me. By the way, I heard that someone from Marquis Zia's line is joining the academy this year. Do you know about that? Yeah. Zia Huyu curled his lips and said, "It's a girl. What's her name? I forgot. That's a cocky fellow. But she's not staying here. She's staying at the special zone instead. What a wastrel. She's actually spending 100 merit points per year just for accommodation. Marquis Zia is rich. He's the #1 merchant of Great Zia. Would he care about a little bit of merit points?" The new student was impressed as well. Some people simply lived a much better life than others. Not even some of the bigger families would be willing to spend 100 merit points just for accommodation. When the new student saw that Zia Huyu was so talkative, he asked, "You have been everywhere. Do you know if there's any big shots in our block? The freaks are either staying in the high-level zone or the special zone. As for our block, the strongest is probably the fellow in Unit 609, Suyu from Nanyuan, a high student." Suyu? The new student said, "The fellow who got a high evaluation due to a damaged mark of culture. You know that as well?" Zia Huyu said in astonishment. "Don't tell me you really believe that he only managed to get high evaluation because of a damaged mark of culture?" "Is that not the case?" the student said. "That's what I heard. His willpower is weak, yet he managed to get a high score during that test. He's not even at the mental tempering stage. If the mark of culture isn't broken, would he be able to get a high evaluation?" Zia Huyu smiled and said, "Think what you want, but I advise you to not provoke that fellow. No matter what, he's a 9th stage source opening cultivator. Fresh mental tempering stage students like us can probably be killed with one slap by him, unless we have powerful divine characters." 9th stage source opening. The student nodded in agreement. True, their willpower might be stronger, but a lot of them were rather weak in physical cultivation. Provoking Suyu was basically the same as asking for a beating. Those freaks won't fear him. I heard some of the freaks are already in the great strength realm. But that has nothing to do with us. Zia Huyu was already done cleaning the room. While walking away, he said, "Feel free to call me if you need anything in the future. I'll give you my card later. I provide apartment cleaning services 3 times per week. You can hire me instead of doing it yourself." "Sure, thank you, student Zia." "You're welcome." A wide smile appeared on Zia Huyu's face. See, it was so easy to earn money, and people here were even thanking him after paying him. If he could expand his cleaning services to the entire mental tempering garden, he would be rich. But he had heard that the academy provided the same services as well. Before long, he arrived at the 6th floor. He was staying there as well. He wouldn't have encountered Suyu so early otherwise. His gaze landed on Unit 609 curiously. The door was shut. Zia Huyu raised his brow. Suyu, high student, a genius of Nanyuan, and a student of Liu Wenyan. He seemed like a nice guy, but he was too stingy. He was so stingy, he wasn't even willing to spend 1 merit point. If he ended up exhausting himself to death cleaning the apartment, he deserved it. While he was thinking, the door opened. When Suyu saw the chubby guy in the corridor, he smiled and said, "Student, can I ask you something? Are there a lot of stores selling beddings downstairs?" "Not really. There are only 3 of them in total, and there is only one near our place." "Thanks." Suyu then walked out of his unit and shut the door. Zia Huyu hurriedly asked, "Do you really not want my help with it? I'm only charging $100. If you don't have cash, you can swipe your card instead. My business accepts cards. I'm good. Thank you for the offer." Suyu was smiling politely, but inwardly he was cursing. Dream on! Was $100 not money? Paying $100 for someone to go downstairs for him? Did he not have legs himself? By the way, where's the cafeteria? It's quite far, but still within the mental tempering garden. It's in block 15. Suyu nodded and asked again, "Student, you can consider buying some meals over. Since everyone has just arrived, they are probably tired and too lazy to go that far. You can probably earn some money selling food." Zia Huyu sighed and said, "I wanted to do that as well, but the profit margin is too low." But the profit margin is too low. The food in the cafeteria is too expensive. If they have to pay enough for me to profit as well, they might as well leave for some fine dining instead. Is the food there really that expensive? Yes. Zia nodded and clenched his teeth in fury. You need to swipe 1 merit point there to get a credit of $10,000 in the cafeteria. Each meal is worth hundreds of dollars. You would probably end up spending 1 merit point per month to eat there. Suyu was speechless. Damn it. The academy must have gone crazy from greed. How about those without merit points? Are they going to starve to death? Not really. You can always cook. You can also eat at the visitor district. They accept cash there, and the food there is priced fairly. Only the cafeteria here is overcharging their food. Suyu laughed helplessly. After arriving at the academy, he realized how poor he was and how greedy the academy was. When Zia saw that Suyu was being chatty, he followed Suyu and said, "Student, in the academy, you need to learn to make your own money. The academy encourages its students to be independent. Otherwise, it won't be able to support so many people, especially when everyone is a cultivator." Suyu nodded. That was true. There were nearly 100,000 people in the academy. That was too many people for the academy to support. We are all new students, so there won't be that many ways we can make money. We can't even get those missions. You might think that all the new students are very well off now, but wait a few months. At that time, new students will probably be the same as beggars. Zia sighed and said, "We need to look for our own income. Relying on family alone won't work." "Yeah," Suyu nodded again. Zia lowered his voice and said, "Brother, I have a good money-making idea. Are you interested?" Suyu looked at him and said, "If it's guaranteed to make money, why are you looking for me? We don't know each other that well, right? It doesn't matter. We will be close after getting to know each other." Zia smiled and said, "You're Suyu. I know you. A high genius from an ordinary family, right? Do you want to make some money?" Suyu merely looked at him silently. "It's really very easy. I can promote you and incite some people to challenge you. You can charge them for each challenge, earning money regardless of the result. What do you think?" Suyu smiled and said, "Why don't I promote you instead? You can be the fighter," Zia helplessly said. "I wish, but I'm not as well known as you. You're quite famous, and the Myriad of culture happened to be damaged during your test. Many people believe that you're not qualified to be a high student. This is a good chance. You should grab any money you can. After your talent is revealed, you won't be able to do this anymore. Forget it. I'm not interested." That's it for today's video. The next part arrives tomorrow. Subscribe so you don't miss it.